So up in Teesdale today, about 3 miles outside of Middleton, Teesdale. We're going to go to a place I haven't been for about 30 years. Summerhill Force and Gibson's Cave. So we'll have a look down there first, and then we'll pop across the road and get down to Low Force and High Force. Now what a special sight that is. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So Summerhill Force, and behind the force is the cave, Gibson's Cave. Oh, what a stunning sight that is. So Gibson was supposed to be a lovable rogue that was on the run. This is going back hundreds of years, and while he was on the run he hid in the cave behind the force there. A lot of his friends came down to provide him with food and clothing, and he lived there for a lot of years undetected. I'm down here there now, and there's not a soul about apart from me. Yes, it's midweek, but the car park is absolutely chock-a-block. But everybody's doing what I've previously done for years and years, headed across the road from the main attraction, which is Low Force and High Force, and they forget about Gibson's Cave and Summerhill Force. And force being the old Viking word of foss, which they used to call a waterfall. So on a hot day, you want a bit of shade, you want a bit of cool, you want a bit of scenery, you want a spectacular waterfall, this is the place to come. Not that many people here either, which is always a bonus. How nice was that? But I'll tell you something, we're going to spoil you today, because we've got the main event coming up, Low Force and High Force, and all we've done is basically just cross the road. The car park is over there. You can get a bit of free parking here. Cross the road, head across the fields. So to get the other side, we've got to go across the suspension bridge. Now the original suspension bridge was built in, I think it was 1741. I think it was about 60 years later, there was a group of people going over it, and one of the strands snapped, and 3 men went into the water. 3 went in, only 2 came out alive. So they did rebuild the bridge, I think in 1860, and that's the bridge. We've got to go over there now. And every time I come here with Mrs. Metalman, I always remind her of that story, because she hates going over this bridge. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons she didn't come today. So they do say only one person should cross at a time. And when you do walk across it, you can feel it moving and bouncing a bit. But what a nice sight that is. The River Tees was all the way up from the Dale, all the way down to Middlesbrough, over on the coast into the sea. Anyway, I've got to cross safely. So this is Low Force, and what a very, very spectacular sight it is. But the main attraction is about 2 miles. Now you get a lot of people coming down here, and see some lads in the background jumping from the rocks and going in for a swim. That water there is absolutely Baltic, and over the years there's a few gone in there, and there's a couple unfortunately not got out again. But a real popular places at the weekend for people coming down with canoes. It goes all the way up to High Force. You've got little falls like this, some obviously bigger than the others, some more difficult than the others. So over the years I've stood this spot numerous times, having my photograph taken, taking photographs of my kids, my grandkids, and been down here with my parents many, many years ago. Never ever get sick of coming down here. Always a very, very enjoyable place to come, and just to spend a few hours. So you see why the canoeists like coming down here. So I'm just having 10-15 minutes here, just chill out. There's so many places like this here where you can just stop and you can sit and just chill out and relax the day, and for me that's what it's all about. So if the noise of the falls is too much for you and you want a bit more peace and quiet, again further up the river you've got places like this where you can achieve both. I'm pulling in a few clouds there now with the sun, but with a nice gentle breeze I can live with that. You've got fields after field like this on one side of the trail, and you've got the River Tees on the other side of the trail, which is making it a very enjoyable walk up. Having a bit of shade, very pleasant place to stop, and I think I'll have a lunch stop here. Perfect. Looks like a farm up there. All the years I've been coming up here, it's always been exactly like that. Nothing has ever changed. Oh, and look at them clouds. Oh yeah, look at them clouds. So now we're walking away from the River Tees, and it's not that much further up to bump into the river again, and we should be seeing high force. Things have gone very quiet and very peaceful. We're walking through this little wooded area there now, and all of a sudden I cannot see the river, I can hear the force, so we must be quite close to it. So the very wonderful high force. I've seen it where the water completely covers all that rock there, and when you see it like that, now that is some sight. Occasionally if it gets really cold up here, it freezes, and to see that completely frozen is a sight to behold as well. So that was high force. Didn't do much filming there because it's a very small viewing area and there was a lot of people there, so I think I'll walk further up and see if we can get any better shots of it. So that's the top of the force up there, and as you can see it's coming over, and that's quite a drop down there. Over the years, a lot of people have been walking on them rocks and they've went in, and you go in there to speed that water, basically you're not going to come out until you hit the bottom of the high force. One guy even went over in a beer barrel years and years ago. Should never have said mint sauce. Look at this here, and this trail here you can walk for miles and miles and miles, and on a day like this it is absolutely glorious. Come here in the bad weather, it's bleak, it's cold, it's wild, and you might not enjoy it as much. I've had an absolute belter of a day, really enjoyed it. Well, a few lambs in the field. I think that one's called the tup, the male. It looks like this is his harem. Nice work if you can get it. So that was high force, low force, and this morning Gibson's cave. So I've really enjoyed it, so hopefully you have as well, and if you've watched this far, thank you very much indeed. If you've enjoyed the video, please click on the like button, and why not consider subscribing, because it won't be too long before I'm back out again. Cheers.